Blanca, former member of Group 1 crew, has recently ventured out on a solo career, and she is here today to tell us about it. Blanca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I think it's important to know, how you got to where you are today. We need to go back to where you started. So you got your start with Group 1 crew. How did this come about?
Well, I met the group probably over 10 years ago, and we're all from Orlando, Florida. We were at the time, and I had just given my life to the Lord. I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And met the guys at my local church. So it was a Bible study for musicians. The Bible study was actually called Group 1. And we would meet every Sunday and do music together, keep each other accountable. And from there, of course, you put a bunch of musicians in a room and we're going to
make
music. Yeah, so we put a little album together. Our manager at the time heard it and sent it over to Nashville, had a showcase for Word Records, and next thing you know, we were a Christian band new on the scene. It was a really exciting time, and now it's kind of just a new chapter, a new season for me, and I'm a new mommy.
Oh, so, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting. How has that been?
It's been amazing.
How are you able to balance it all?
Honestly, that's the hardest challenge is, as a mom, you feel like you want to be present and make sure, like, I want to nurture my baby. His name is London, and just be there as much as I can. And so when I'm on the road, it's kind of like I just want to be home. And then when I'm home, I want to figure out a way to be out on the road. So finding that balance is always difficult, but I just take it one day at a time. That's what I've learned is the best way to do it, because it could be overwhelming when you start thinking a month in advance, 2 months, a year, 5 years. So,
and as a working mom, I think a lot of women out there feel this guilt of being away from their children. Do you ever feel that?
Yes, I feel like it's inevitable. Being a mom, a working mom, like you said, and being out on the road, it can be challenging at times just for that reason. Like, you feel like your responsibility is to take care of your kids, and you feel like you're being called in a direction, so you want to do what you feel the Lord is calling you to do, but it can be challenging. And some advice that I heard that has really helped me in this time is, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, when God calls you to something, if he's calling you, he's not just calling Blanca, but he's calling your family as well. So he knows London. He knows the plans that he has for London. He knows the plans that he has for your husband, and he's going to help you guys through it. So that's helped me kind of just release some of that anxiety and worry, and just say, man, it's in God's hands. So I know this is where I need to be, and he's going to work the pieces together.
Well, so you recently ventured out as a solo artist. What led you to this decision?
I feel like it was something that was always there. I knew that I wanted to do a solo album. I didn't know when or what it would look like. But honestly, having my son just changed everything for me. I feel like it gives you a new perspective, and you start asking yourself, some of those hard questions, like, what are you doing with your life? Where do you see yourself? What are some of those dreams that you feel God is stirring up? Like, I felt like it wasn't just the birth of my son, but the birth of a whole new season for me. So I ran with it, as scary as it was.
Was it? I mean, I imagine you had a lot of fear, because Group 1 crew had quite a bit of success. So was that scary leaving that?
It was. It was very scary. Like, Group 1 was working. It was great. It wasn't like it was something that, was breaking apart. It was just like I just felt strongly about starting anew, and leaving your comfort zone is
never easy.
Never easy. Change is never easy, but it's always worth it. And I'm so glad that I took the risk and I trusted the Lord. I feel like he's been stretching me more in this last year than ever before. I'm learning so much about myself and some of those challenging places, but just allowing him to work in it. And so it's been an exciting journey.
Yeah. Well, Group 1 crew kind of entered into the mainstream market a little bit with One Tree Hill. So did you ever feel this tug from the mainstream market, or did you always know that you wanted to be a Christian singer?
I think for me personally, I felt like with my music and with what I do, I always want it to mean something, and I want it to be about something bigger than myself. And that's why I love what I get to do in the Christian industry. I feel like the Lord, again, he'll open the doors when necessary and give you opportunities like that, like One Tree Hill, which are awesome. But to be able to use the gifts that he's given and to just give back is definitely, for me, the most fulfilling. So I knew that this is where I wanted to be. I knew Group One, I think we knew that we wanted to bring something new and different to the Christian industry that was up to par to whatever was out there in mainstream music, but we always wanted to make it more than just music.
As a solo artist, where does the inspiration behind your songs come from?
A lot of my songs stem from life, real life, things that I'm going through right now. That's a big part of it. I think sometimes people see you on stage or they see you singing and doing music and they're like, oh, they got it all figured out and everything together. But we're going through life just like everybody else, and challenges as a mom, challenges in stepping out in faith, challenges in health. My mom is dealing through, she was dealing with breast cancer and things like that. And these are just things that we have to work through. So I pull a lot of my inspiration through those moments, but also through people that I meet and fans that you meet on the road, and you hear their story and something sticks out and comes all together.
We recently released your album, Who I Am. Where did the inspiration come? What is the message behind Who I Am?
The main message, I think, with this album and with Who I Am is about identity. I know it's something that I've dealt with in my life, for a struggle that I've dealt with for a while. Just
in what way?
Finding your identity and your worth in other things, whether it's feeling like you have to look a certain way to be accepted, or feeling like, as a mom, I have to do things have to structure out a certain way in order for me to be a good mom. But at the end of the day, like, my identity is found in Christ, and I want to be real, I want to be true, and be everything that God is calling me to be. And I think authenticity and being real is something that is hard to come by these days, because you have so much being thrown at you and this pressure to want to be perfect. But you're good enough right now. I'm good enough right now. Not when I lose 20 pounds. Not when my album goes #1. Not when my kid is, on the honor roll. But right now, like, God says I'm enough. So that was my main message that I wanted to get across with.
And you just launched a new social media campaign called the Real True You Challenge. Tell me about that, because that kind of flows into Who I Am and being good enough, right?
It does. When we released the album, we wanted to find a way to get people involved as well with the release. And so we launched the Real True You Challenge. And it was just inspiring people to release authenticity and realness on social media, and, post a picture with no makeup or with your natural hair. Like, that was my thing. I put a picture up and shared about my hair. Like, I didn't like it growing up, and it was a bit of a challenge for me, learning to love it.
I always want to straighten it. I wish I had your hair. It's so fun.
But it's funny because you always want what you don't have.
Right?
I wanted the straight hair, and I said, but now I'm like, this is who I am. This is me. This is a part of me, and I've learned to love it and accept it. And so to see the response of other girls, or, even guys out there writing back and saying, you know what, I love that I love hard. And that's not a weakness, but I love my friends and my family, and that's great. Or I love my smile, or this is my natural hair, and I'm learning to love it. Like, I think we can always sit and talk about things that we wish we could change. But sometimes it's nice to just share a little positivity and
we need more of that in this world,
yeah,
for sure. You're such a role model to so many young girls, just embracing who you are. What do your fans mean to you?
It means everything. They mean everything. I feel like I feel so blessed, and it's overwhelming sometimes to hear back the impact that my music has had on someone's life, I know that has so much more to do with than just me, but to know that I was a part of it and that I was able to share some light or some experience that I've gone through to kind of help someone else through whatever they're going through. It's just inspiring to me. So I'm really grateful that I get to do Christian music and that I get to do this for a living and to hear people that are connecting with it. It just means the world.
So what's next for you?
I'll be hitting summer festivals this season. I'll be going on tour in the fall on Girls of Grace. Get connected, officialblanca.com. You could check out if I'm in a city near you.
Awesome.
And definitely check out the new songs.
We just thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.